Hey everyone, my name is Shana Recker, and one of the quotes I love and live by is "Action is the foundational key to success" by Pablo Picasso.
Welcome to the Network Marketing Made Simple podcast. I am your host, Scott Aaron, and each and every week I'm going to come to you with short, simple, and powerful tactics of how you can grow your network marketing business, brand, bank account, and impact on those around you. And just remember, network marketing is not easy, but it can be made easy with simple steps to create the success that you truly deserve. Welcome to episode 100 of the Network Marketing Made Simple podcast. And if you are a new listener, then welcome. And if you are a returning listener, then welcome back. And as always, if you are a professional network marketer, new or old to the business, and you are still growing your business through the primary means of Facebook and Instagram and not yet know the power of LinkedIn and how much it can change your business and your income, then head over to my website, www.scottaaron.net, where I can learn more about you by filling out a free 15-minute call with me and how we could potentially work together. So I'm really excited about today's episode for a number of reasons. Number one, this human being is just incredible, and I can't wait for them to share their story, their tips, and everything that they're embodying right now. But number two, this person gets to be part of my 100th episode of my podcast. And when I think about that, like, it's just crazy to me how fast time goes when you launch a podcast and then all of a sudden it's taken off, and now I'm 100 episodes in, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the listeners and all of the support you guys are giving, but even more grateful for this amazing human being to be a part of my 100th episode. So as always, I don't like telling the person's story. I want them to tell their own. So Shana Recker, welcome to today's 100th episode.
Amazing. I am so excited to be here, and I love that I'm a part of the 100th episode.
So this is automatically going to be a good episode because there's such good juju around, a 100th episode. So with that, Shana, just, for people that don't know who you are and what you do, and more so on a personal level, just do a little introduction, just saying hi to the audience and who you are and how did you come to what you're doing now?
Absolutely. Yes. Well, thank you for having me, Scott. This is so much fun. And my name is Shana Recker, and I have, my career started out as a graphic designer, and I spent, 15 plus years working in the graphic design industry as a, more like a freelance designer, and then worked into corporate design. And it was actually, and I'm a mom, I have 3 kids right now. I have 2 teenagers and a 9-year-old that keep me super busy. I'm married to my awesome husband, Jason Recker. And so it was in having my 3rd child when I was introduced to network marketing. And, it's funny because growing up, I always knew, or I always had this feeling that I wanted to be my own boss. Like I always was, graphic design, even I was always like, I'm going to graduate. I'm going to start my own graphic design business, not knowing anything of what it meant about being an entrepreneur. And that was what I thought I was going to do. But it just, society teaches you graduate and you go get a job so that you can buy a car and do all the things. Right. So I did the traditional thing. I graduated, got a job. For me, I moved to the big city, which is Toronto. And I got what I would say a big job there as a graphic designer. Ended up moving back to my hometown of London, Ontario, I don't know, about 5 or 6 years in, and got a corporate gig at a big insurance agency here. And during that time, I got pregnant again with my 3rd baby, and I went on mat leave. And while I was on mat leave, my big plan was my husband's also a graphic designer. So I thought, and he had his own business, he had his own design agency. And I thought, this is it. I'm going to go on mat leave and I'm going to start working with you in your business while I'm on mat leave. And we're going to create enough income with us working together that I'm not going to have to go back to my corporate job.
Mm.
And, you know, don't get me wrong. I had a great job. I love the people I worked with, but when you have that entrepreneurial, I feel like it's an entrepreneurial spirit in your body. Like you just know that you need to be your own boss. The whole having to be on someone else's schedule just always irritated me. And, you know, having to ask for vacation days when your kids were sick to take time off to be with them. And, you know, only 2 weeks vacation every year, 3 weeks vacation, like those things really frustrated me, as I'm sure they do most. And I always saw my husband who just, he ran his day. Like it was just like there was no stress for him. And he was the one who was doing all the stuff for the kids because I couldn't. And so this was the big plan, was I was going to go on my mat leave and then I was going to start working with him. We were going to create a bigger income so I wouldn't have to go back. And then I was introduced to network marketing, and I was given a sample of a product. And actually, here's a tip for the listeners who are listening right now. I was actually given a sample for a product at a hair salon, and the woman gave me her sample. She gave me a catalog. She did not take any of my information. I went home. I used the sample. I loved it. Was going to buy some, but my husband was like, you're not going to buy that stuff. You don't even know what that is. Like, you know, we were total new to this whole space. He's like, you don't even know what that is. You're not going to buy that. So I didn't. And then a few months later, an acquaintance of mine who had started in network marketing contacted me through Facebook when Facebook was very new and said, hey, I'm doing this thing. I'd love to share some stuff with you. You know, can we meet? And to be honest, I put her off a bunch of times, and finally had her over. My baby had just been born, and she showed me all of the stuff. And this was the same stuff that this woman at the hair salon had given me, and showed me all this stuff. And I tried some things, fell in love, bought some stuff. And then the wheels started turning. I was like, you know what, maybe I want to do this for a business. Like, maybe I want to do this. Like, she's doing this. Like, why can't I do this? Like, you know, and I started, you know, in the beginning, I was thinking like extra income for our family. I wasn't thinking this was going to turn into what it did. But I was just kind of more curious because she was doing it, right? So I was like, there's got to be something to this. So ended up joining the business, to, you know, supplement maybe $500 a month for our family while I was on mat leave. And as I learned more about network marketing and learned more about how this business is actually more than just selling a product, and that it can create massive wealth and time for you, I jumped in. I really, within a few months of just kind of dabbling with it, I got it, I understood it, and then I was all in. Like, I was just like hair on fire. Like the dream of working with my husband just went away, and this is what I was doing. And within my first year, I was making 6 figures. And so I often think of that woman in the hair salon. Had she followed up with me, which she did not, because she didn't get any of my information, you know, how that would have changed things for her. But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so I started, you know, really getting intentional and building the business. And within my first year of starting network marketing, I started in August of 2010. So this would be my 9-year anniversary. I was supposed to go back to my corporate job in June of 2010. And I quit because I had already replaced my income at that point. And it just didn't make sense to go back to 40-hour work week job, you know, to have to put my kids in before and after school programs and daycares to make the same amount of money that I was making part-time working from home. So I also knew that if I went back to that full-time job, my network marketing business would suffer. And I didn't want that because I could see the potential. I knew that this was going to take me way farther in life and you know, and not only that, I mean, there's the whole personal development journey that started with that as well. I started learning about that. But I just knew there was more here for me than to go back to that corporate job.
So, you know, obviously network marketing is so much more than the income. And this is actually something that you and I spoke about because it's something that I actually spoke about with you on your podcast. It's the mindset. The money's great, but you and I both know that no matter what the business is, whether it's an entrepreneurial endeavor, whether it's network marketing, the 6 inches between your ears is either going to help you or is going to hurt you. So how important was it for you in the very beginning of your entrepreneurial career? Because listen, you had a decade-and-a-half career in corporate. So how important was it for you to get your mindset wrapped around network marketing as you were getting fully into it and growing your business? Or, on the side of that, what did you do to refacilitate having the right mindset once you understood it was so important?
Well, my personal development journey started when I, obviously started my network marketing business, and I learned a lot about the power of thought. And, so I'm somebody who, like, when I learn something and I love what I'm learning and I can see it working for me, I go all in. I dove into podcast, well, not necessarily podcasts in the beginning, because podcasts were still not really something that people listened to when I started, but like audiobooks. And our company had all of these like audio trainings from other leaders who were giving advice and tips and stuff. And then I got into the book Think and Grow Rich, and started learning about, the power of the mind and what you think about, you bring about. And when I started seeing those things working for me, like, it just shifted everything for me. I don't know if I'm totally answering the question, but
No, this is great.
yeah, here's the thing. When I was in corporate, my biggest dream was to get the corner office and get the BlackBerry and become a manager. And just because, so you could get the income, but with that came work. And that was like my biggest dream then. As network marketing, when I started network marketing, I learned about, thoughts become things, and you can have anything you want in life if you just it's like anything was possible. Like, I learned that in network marketing through the personal development aspect. And then my dreams became like 1,000 times bigger. It was like, I want to have, these are right now just tangible things, but I want the dream house on the ocean in California. I want to speak on stages. I want to be inspiring thousands and millions of people with what I'm learning. And like the difference in the trajectory of my life because of personal development, it just literally like it cracked wide open. And it was like, now all of a sudden my belief now is anything is possible in your life, like anything.
So when you first started in network marketing, and I love how, and you and I discussed this, that, all the companies are great, but sometimes the people they have training, they just make it look way too easy. And people are like, oh, it's not that hard. But,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful and lucrative profession, but it's by no means easy. What was the biggest obstacle that you faced when you first started your network marketing journey?
100% was worrying about what other people were thinking of me. Yeah. And go ahead.
So speak on that, because there's 85% of network marketing is women, but men go through this too. But, talk about how debilitating that can be for an entrepreneur, worrying about what others think about you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember the first time I had my friends, my corporate friends over, and I love them to death. They're beautiful friends. But the first time they came over to visit me, because I had just had a baby, and they were in my living room, and I had these little goodie bags for them with some of my samples of my products. And I remember passing them to them and said, "Oh, guys," and I had some other things in there too. And I said, "By the way, I just started this new business and I wanted to give you guys some stuff." And I remember my one friend just looked at me and she was like, "You're doing that?" And said it in that kind of tone. At least that's how I remember it. Cause I remember feeling like someone just gut punched me. It was like, oh my God, they think this isn't good. Like, they think this is bad. They're judging me for this. And even though maybe those weren't the actual thoughts I was having, that's what I was feeling. Like, I was feeling very judged, and like it was beneath me, and that I was doing something wrong almost. And, it's funny because even though I felt that way, and then that was really hard for me. And I think that's, like you said, as a female, we definitely, I think, struggle with that a lot. And I know men do too, but for me specifically, that was definitely a struggle I had my whole life. And now I was doing this thing that people judged. And I was like, oh my gosh, can I actually do this? But for me, the pull to do it, because I knew that there was something, I just had this feeling from the minute that I got it, that this was going to change my life. And I think sometimes we're pulled on paths because it is our path. And even though the judgment was there and the fear was there, I did it anyways. And I truly believe it's because I was meant to do this, because it's led me down this path where I am today. And I truly feel like I'm living on purpose, more my purpose, because of this industry. And so it was there, and it was scary, and I had to deal with it every single day in multiple different ways, as network marketers, we always do. but the want to make it happen was always greater than the worry about what people were thinking of me. I got over that. Every time you kind of get over it, it gets easier to get over it. And that first time with my friends in my living room, that was probably the hardest one. And I kept moving anyways. So everything after that kind of just got a little easier, so it
So
was.
knowing what you know now, and you and I both work with a ton of entrepreneurs, network marketers, people
Mhm.
not in network marketing. What would you say is the greatest lesson that you've learned through this process? And we can't do anything to change our journey and our path, but
Mhm.
if you could make a recommendation to a new network marketer,
Mhm.
something that you would now do different knowing what you know now, what would that one
Mhm.
thing be?
I would say take massive action, quickly. Like the way that this business can change your life, it's mind blowing. Like I've been doing this for 9 years. I've had 9 years of freedom, waking up every day,
Hmm.
being able to choose what I want to do day in and day out. I've started another business because of the time and the income that network marketing has brought me. And so, and what I see, and it kills me every time I see this, is when you see people come in and they're so full of energy and they're so excited and they have the dreams in their heart, and then it gets hard. And so instead of taking action through the hard, they just let it paralyze them, and
Hmm.
they end up kind of going backwards, and they stop in fear, and the fear just overcomes them, and then they don't take action, and then they just kind of crumble. And it's so sad to see. And you try and motivate people, and you try and tell them all the things, and be that coach and that mentor, but they just can't get through the fear. And the thing is that the only way to get through the fear is to take the action scared. Like you have to take the action in order to make the fear go away, I guess, to some degree. I mean, there's always a level of fear, but it's action because then when you take the action, you look back and you go, that really wasn't as bad as I was making it up in my head.
Yeah.
And so for me, in that first year, I mean, I took a ton of action, which is why I was able to get, as far as as I got as quickly as I did. It was me just taking blind action and doing things and throwing the spaghetti at the wall and seeing what would stick, and then doing it again and again and again. And if I could do it differently, I would have doubled down on the action that I was taking, so that I could have it happen even faster and have it even grow even bigger, in the same amount of time. So,
And it's so important because action leads to everything else. And it's something that I really truly believe in, because I talk to
mhm,
so many people, and it's not that they're doing anything wrong. They're just not
mhm.
doing enough of
Yeah.
of the actionable things to really achieve success. So things, as they grew for you, you made it. You made your six figures, and a year on up, and it kept growing and growing and growing. But then you had kind of like a light bulb moment, because
Mhm,
you were having conversations with a ton of people in and out of your organization, in and out of your company and
mhm.
opportunity, and that kind of spurred what Shana is doing now. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that transitional moment when you kind of realized, you know what, and this is what you and I talked about,
Mhm.
is that when you see a problem and you can find and create a solution for that problem, you can start helping even more people. So let's
Yeah.
talk about that transitional moment, what you saw, and then what you created, and what path you're now on.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was so funny. You know how when something happens in your life or there's a shift in your life, you can remember every single detail about it. And I feel like it's those moments that we can look back and we can almost like even smell how it smelled in the air, because those are those transitional life path change moments. And it's like they're like imprinted in your memory. For me, this was one of them. And my husband and I were on a sort of like a mini vacation in Chicago,
Mm.
and we had some downtime, and I had brought with me a network marketing book by a very popular network marketer, who had a whole business outside of her network marketing business where she was coaching people. And I was reading this book and I got this download, and it was like a flash in my head. And I remember just like looking at my husband going like, this woman, she's creating a massive income and inspiring millions of people by sharing what she knows through a platform that reaches not just her team, but it reaches the whole world.
Mm.
And, why couldn't I do something like this? Like,
Yeah.
I've had some significant success, I think, in my business. I have things that I could teach people. Like, why couldn't, at that time, I was thinking, well, why couldn't I write a book? but so that would have been in 2015. And, that was kind of before this really big online sort of coaching sort of boom that's, I think, happening right now. So I was thinking in terms of writing a book or something. And then by the time I actually started to do this idea, that's when the online space was starting to really fill with, online coaching and doing Facebook Lives and like having having a coaching business. And so it took me a year to really start that business because, I had a lot of imposter syndrome and like, who am I to do this? And, I'm not a coach and that kind of stuff. But once my husband and I finally made a decision to move it forward, we created a brand. It was, at that time, it was called Girlfriend's Guide to Network Marketing. And I just started showing up in the online space on Facebook using Facebook Live. And I had a website, and I just started sharing my knowledge of what I knew about network marketing, what I knew about getting to be successful in the online space. And before Instagram, it was just Facebook, but I had built a following on Facebook. At that time, I think I had almost 16,000 followers to my business page on Facebook. And I was literally just showing up, doing live videos a couple times a week, sharing tips and things to help build your online business.
I love that. So, and it was all organic. So what was it that you saw from your experience in network marketing that really wanted you to have yourself and your husband push your chips all in with this?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just saw, for me, it was like, I saw an opportunity to inspire more people. Like, I was like, I'm just right now only talking to, my team. Like, and there are other people out there that need this kind of business. They need this income. Like, they're desperate to make this work. And what I saw is that there were companies out there who weren't training their teams the way that we had been so, in my company, just so blessed with. Like, I just think that there are some businesses out there that train their people really well. And there are some that just, they don't have access to the kind of personal development and training that's required in order to be successful in this business. So I saw an opportunity to, take what I've been so blessed to have been given. And not only that, like, I was and still am today, a personal development junkie, like, not even just for my company, but from books and, mentors and things like that. I signed up for all kinds of stuff. And I wanted to take those things that I was learning and found helpful for me and share it with the masses. Like, why not? Like, we can, right? So that's really what drove me to do it, is that, there is a bigger opportunity to help more people. And let's be honest, it was for us another stream of income, right? It was like multiple streams of income, which I'm totally for. And I thought, I could create an online course, which I did, and teach people what I knew through that. And then it did shift for me. I did find after a while of teaching network marketing that I loved coaching and training, but it did shift out of network marketing, because what I was finding is that there are so many different businesses that do business. Like, the vein of what we do is the same, but then everybody has different ways of kind of doing things. And I was running into a lot of resistance in different ways. And I was like, I started like feeling like something.
Dive into
Yeah.
that a little bit. So what, like, because it's really good because there's a lot of network marketers that need to hear these kind of things.
Yeah.
Because as coaches, we want to help as many people as we can, in and out of network marketing, but there are barriers that are definitely up and there's walls of resistance. So what did you start to face?
Well, definitely compliance issues. So I had to make sure that my company knew what I was doing. I had specific rules around what I could do and couldn't do. So that was one barrier. I also felt, to be honest, that the community of leaders, when you get to those top levels in your marketing company, you get sort of pegged as like, you're a lifer. Like, this is the thing you're going to do and the only thing you're going to do for the rest of your life, because why would you do anything else? Right. So when I started sort of breaking out and doing something else, I was getting the feeling of people going like, well, why are you doing that? Like, that doesn't make sense. And so I was feeling my own resistance against, like, am I being kicked out of the club if I do this because I'm doing something different? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so there was that resistance kept coming up for me. And then, just my own understanding of the industry and realizing that some of the things that I was putting out there, doesn't necessarily work for, a jewelry company. It works for a health and wellness company, but not really a jewelry company. So like, I just started feeling like, maybe this wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. And I actually ended up creating a course, a mindset course for network marketers. And I launched it and it totally flopped because I did no research I didn't, see, does anybody even want a mindset course,
Right.
And I just thought they did, and it flopped. And it was that summer where I launched it and I didn't get any sales, that I just kind of was like, what am I doing? And I had a kind of a moment of coming together going, okay, what's wrong here? And I knew in my core, the thing that was wrong was I being an online coach and showing up in the online space and teaching was definitely for me, but what I was teaching was the issue. And I love my business. I love everything about network marketing. I truly believe everybody should experience it and have that multiple stream of income. But I could feel that there was something else for me in this coaching business. And so then it wasn't until a friend of mine came by and she started telling me a business idea that she had. Like, she was a therapist and she wanted to bring it into the online space, and she was like, not really sure how. And like, I literally, when she said that to me, I started like vomiting on her with all of this, like, oh, well, you need to do this and you need to create this website and you got to create this Facebook page. And then you can go on Instagram and like, and I started literally like giving her all of this like new business strategy on what she needed to do in order to make this work. And it was in that moment, I was kind of like, that's what I need to be teaching, because I love that space. I've always loved being an entrepreneur. My design background, just, personal development, even just using in my network marketing business, using the social media platforms and stuff to build my business. And I just knew that's where I needed to be. And so I made this transition, and it's been amazing ever since.
Well, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Every network marketer, it's okay to go all in with network marketing. It's, if that's all you want to do.
Yep.
You and I are of the belief, we love network marketing. We are just grateful for the opportunities that it presented us, because it allowed us to create these multiple streams of income. What is your message for the network marketer that is still so much in alignment with their opportunity, but there's a part of their heart that wants to do more, that wants to create something else? Because just like you and I know, whether your company is wellness based, whether it's skincare based, hair care based, oil based, whatever it is, you're serving an individual that only wants that. But then there's this whole sector of people outside of that could still benefit. So not to create squirrel brain or to shift your energy from focusing on building your business, but how important is it for each individual associate to be the brand and not have the product take over the brand?
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things that, I teach people, and even my own team. And one of the things that I was teaching when I really was coaching network marketing was, your social media, you can't have your company logo as your profile picture. Like, people don't want to do business with that. Like, people don't want to be sold to, 24/7 online. And you have to show up as you, and you have to bring you to the table and your passions and your, I always say, like, pick 5 things about yourself, like, that you love, like cooking, yoga, your kids, that you're a business owner, that, those are things that are you, and bring those to your social media and attract people to you because they have similar likes. And then when you get to know people and create conversation, then you can talk about and ask, hey, have you tried this? Or would you, like to come to this thing I'm hosting, or whatever, right? Like, you've got to get people interested in you before you start trying to get them interested in your product. And because I just think that the people are, there is a lot of that going on in social media. I think people are getting better in the network marketing space about building a personal brand, and then having their income be part of that. And I know one of the things that I struggled with when I started my second business was unraveling my identity to my company, because I was known as that girl. I was that girl, like my company name, like I was that girl. They called me that. And I had to do some mindset work to go, wait a minute, you are not that. You are Shana Recker. You're an entrepreneur. That is just one of the things that you do. And you can also do this, and you can also do something else down the road if you choose to. And I had to untangle that before I could really allow myself to be successful as an online coach. Yeah.
So even if someone doesn't want to create their own business outside of
Mm-hmm.
network marketing, but they want to still be their own brand,
Yes.
what are a couple things that a network marketer or new entrepreneur or online business coach can do
Yeah.
themselves with the resources that are available to all of us to at least get themselves started?
Absolutely. And I think this is what the trend is, I think, moving towards for network marketers, is to create an online brand around yourself, like a
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle brand. So I see network marketers creating their own websites that have to do with them as a entrepreneur in, let's say, the wellness space, so they talk about lifestyle, but they also talk, give tips and things on nutrition. And it's not all stuff that leads to your company. Maybe it's recipes, maybe it's about, did you know, like, drinking water, this much water does this for your skin or whatever. But then there's an element on their site that leads them to their store or their product. And I'm seeing this as a trend more and more. So they've got websites, they've got opt-ins, so they've created their own lead magnet. Like, I truly believe whatever business you're in as an entrepreneur, you need an email list. And as a network marketer, we do get emails, but they're collected through our company. And you can do some work with them and you can export it. And there's definitely an email list there. But I want an email list of not just clients, I want an email list of prospects, right? That I can talk to and send information to and build relationships to through email, so that, because at the end of the day, our Instagram followers and our Facebook followers, we don't own any of those accounts.
Yeah.
And at any given time, and we've seen where Instagram and Facebook have been down for the day.
Yep.
Or I've heard people who have lost like 2,000 followers overnight. We work so hard to get a follower, and then Instagram changes the game and now nobody's seeing your stuff. So we need a way as entrepreneurs, even in the network marketing space, to move those followers to an email list, so that we can communicate with them on email. And so by creating an opt-in, so if you're in health and wellness, create 5 protein shakes to make your morning better. I don't know, like anything. Give some tips and advice on something, and it doesn't have to do with exactly your product. But if it's protein shakes, you can say, you use a vegan protein shake. This is the one I use, and put your product in there, but give them all the ingredients. And then you're giving them value. And if they love it and they want to know more about protein or whatever, they're going to know that you're the expert and come to you, right? Like, so just having something like that to help build that email list, it's not that hard to create. Technology today, like, there's so many plug and play websites and things online like Canva and Squarespace and all those things that you can utilize to create your own brand without having to like hire all these people to do this stuff for you. Like, it's so much easier today to build that online brand and to build these pieces than it's ever been.
I love it. So obviously you're helping a lot of people, and I want the listeners to know exactly, what you do specifically and how you can help them. So if someone was to ask Shana who her ideal client is and how they can specifically help them, what does that person look like?
So for me, like, my ideal client is somebody who wants to create that, either a personal brand or create a business. Like, if they have a passion for something and they, know that they can help people with what they know. And, what I've learned is that you don't necessarily have to be certified in something. Like, yes, there are definite spaces where you need to be certified in order to be online and giving advice and coaching. But there are some other spaces, like, if you want to teach mindset or social media, that you don't necessarily have to have a certification in those things in order to be able to start a business online and help people through that. So it's that person that has that passion. Like, some of my clients, some of them are like, one of my clients, she has an amazing business that she started with me. And she's a widow. She's a mom of 4 and she's a widow, and she wants to create a business to help other widows out there to know that they can continue on, that there's life after that. So she wanted to build a brand, a social media channel. She wanted to start giving value, and she's going to start a coaching program to help women through that. And she can do that because she has the experience. And sometimes having the experience can be way more valuable than having a certificate. And
I'm so glad you said that, because I really feel that, there's a lot of great coaching certification programs that you
Absolutely.
can take. But in my honest opinion and humbled opinion, the best certification that any coach can get is experiencing it first so they know how to show people how to succeed.
100%. And like I always qualify it. Yeah, there's definitely things where you have to be certified in order to be able to do those things because there's just rules around that. But there's a lot of spaces where that's not the case. And that industry, the online industry, the coaching industry isn't regulated right now. So if you had an idea, a passion, something that you wanted to share with the world and be able to help people with, you can build a brand. And that's my ideal client. It's somebody who's like, I want to do this. It's been on my heart. I've been thinking about this for a while. I want to show up and I want to be able to give this value, create an online course, create a coaching program, whatever it is. And I teach them how to, put the strategy together for their business. So if you obviously, like I said, you need an email list. So I teach them how to do that, how to figure out their niche, their branding. My background is graphic design. So I bring that into the things that I do, how to build a website, what should go on it, what software should you use, that kind of stuff. So I help them put together that foundation for their online business so that they can launch it confidently. That's the basis of what I do. And nothing makes me happier than to see my clients just so proud of their foundation, basically. And then they start putting themselves out there. And it's just so exciting to see them grow and do all the things that basically I did, 4 years ago when I started my own coaching business. And, it was what I just take what I've learned in building my own business and I'm teaching those concepts to other people.
I love it. So before we jump off and before you tell people where they can find you, I want to ask you one final question. And what I love about this question is there is no wrong answer because it's what it means to you. So if someone was to ask you this question, Shana, what does success mean to you? What would you say?
Success means to me, it's waking up every day and loving what it is you're doing, So if it's spending time with your kids or if it's, working a job you love, if it's, it means something different to everybody, but to wake up every day and be excited to do the things that I get to do in a day, to me, that's success. And I think that when you are feeling fulfilled, and you're happy and your vibrations are high, the money will find you. So to me, I've had lots of money and been miserable, and I've had no money and been happy. So it's success is about how you feel. It's not necessarily about how much money is in the bank.
Yeah. Money doesn't buy you happiness.
No.
You have to create happiness with how you feel, and everything else comes into play from that. And I think that's beautifully, beautifully stated. So before we sign off, Shana, how can people connect with you on social media, online, and how can they find out more about how you can assist them with their businesses as well?
Yeah, for sure. So shanarecker.com, and that's my website. And I'm also at Shana Recker on Instagram. Happy to connect with you there if you have questions, or I love to hear from you. If you found value in this episode, please send me a DM and I'd love to have a chat. But yeah, that's where I'm at, shanarecker.com. I've got a couple free things there for you guys if you want to grab any of my content. There's a lot of good stuff on there. And this has been so much fun.
And you have an incredible podcast. And where can people find it? And what's it called?
I do. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. It's called the Dream Hustle Podcast. And it's on iTunes. It's on all the spaces, Spotify, all those places. And yeah, and I talk all about business, and you have been on my podcast. We talked about LinkedIn, but yeah, it's a space where I like to interview entrepreneurs and have them share their story to inspire people who are maybe sitting in fear to take action. Because you guys, like I said at the very beginning of this, everything you want is on the other side of action. And you've got to push through the fears and take the action in order to make it happen. So,
well, thank you so much for being here today. I am just truly grateful for you and your friendship and the content that you provided my audience today. And I know they're going to take away so much. And guys, I highly, highly encourage you to connect with this amazing, amazing human being to learn about how she can assist you. So Shana, thank you so much again for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Scott. This was fun.
Absolutely. And again, thank you everyone for the continued support. And obviously this being episode 100, so grateful for that. So everyone, please enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you again so much for checking out this week's episode. And if you can, head over to iTunes, search for Network Marketing Made Simple, leave me a 5-star rating, basic review, I would be grateful for all of the support you guys can give me. And again, if you'd be interested in learning more how to utilize LinkedIn to grow your business, your brand, and your bank account, head over to my website, www.scottaaron.net. Fill out the form for your free 15-minute discovery call so I can learn more about you, your business, and how we can work together. And again, thank you guys so much. Grateful for you all, and I'll see you next time.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.